Happy Tuesday, y'all. Tiffany Kellogg here with our weekly Tuesday talks, and I am very excited today to be joined by Mary. Welcome, Mary.
Thank you, Tiffany. It's great to be here.
It is great to have you here with us today. So we always like to see where in the world are you, because we're kind of shivering here in Florida, though it's like 50 degrees and people are laughing at us as we're shivering. Where in the world are you?
Well, I'm in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and it was 25 degrees this morning. Ooh, take a
Yeah,
breath
I
away.
I think we need to, for Floridians, we have to rethink this whole "it's cold" thing. But hey, it's all relative, right?
It is. It
So
is. And last week, before Thanksgiving, I guess, that's almost 2 weeks ago now, we went hiking over to Arkansas. It was 74 degrees.
oh,
It
nice.
was beautiful. So we got the last really beautiful weekend of the fall before winter set in.
Oh, gorgeous. And we just finished Thanksgiving. We just finished all the Black Friday and Cyber Monday. And now I think we're back to normal. I don't think there's anything Tuesday, is there?
Oh, yeah. Isn't this Cyber Tuesday?
I know there's Cyber Monday, but I don't know if there's a Tuesday
Oh,
day.
it's Giving Tuesday. That's what it is.
Oh, Giving Tuesday. Okay, I'm gonna have to look that up and see what we can do to play with Giving Tuesday.
Yeah.
Fun, fun. All right, well, Mary, we are excited to have you here with us today. Tell us a little bit about you and your company. Why did you start it? What it is it that you do?
Oh, wow. That's a really long story, Tiffany.
Maybe
You know,
the Cliff Notes version.
well, I'm going to just go back to corporate America, 15 years in aerospace engineering and manufacturing. I'm a fourth generation entrepreneur. So in the back of my head, I was always thinking, what business would I want to do? Always exploring different businesses. In the meantime, looking at my corporate career as a great education. So the day came, I left corporate America and started my own business. Gosh. And I jumped into the internet. It was a new thing then. It was a very new thing. And I was really one of the original internet entrepreneurs in this community. Whew. So I built the first business class ISP. I'm probably the only woman who's doing anything in that technical arena. And all the men that I knew from the corporate work I had done that were in telecommunications were very helpful to me. So I had a lot of help, a lot of support, and grew a great business. And then, beware business owners, then the corporate big giants went, oh, that looks like good money. We're going to swoop in and capture that market. And that's another story in and of itself. But they didn't want the web design. So I had the web designers and the programmers, and I just peeled that off. And we just kept doing what we were doing. And so I love helping people. And I think a strong economy is a good thing for everyone. Understanding what I could do for business owners by helping them with their own personal economic empowerment would also empower the economy of my city. So I was just really passionate about it. And I've got a team of 9. We've got programmers, quality assurance, graphic artists, people on staff, and we build websites and custom applications for people. Yeah, that's the short story.
That's a short story. For the longer story, y'all, you can certainly check out as we go through today. I'm going to be asking Mary some random questions, but if you ever want to ask her questions, you can certainly reach out to her. I'm sure she's happy to have a conversation with you. We have here Mary, and her website is designyoursite.net. Now, website names are a big deal. What made you decide to go with designyoursite.net?
Well, I would ask people, they'd say, what do you do? And I'd say, well, my business is Design Your Site. What do you think I do? And they go, you build websites. So they always say, name your business something that people can understand what you do. And that's also true with your websites. They should be communicating to people what you do, how you can help them.
Now, can I ask, because .com is, like, ooh, the big, and then you've got like .net and .org, and now there's lots of other extensions. What are your thoughts on the importance of .com or .net or some random ones?
Well, .com is the default reflex when we're typing things in. My domain name is .net, and so frequently when people first interact with me, they accidentally use .com, which was already taken. So I'm always going to say go with .com, but they were running out of domain names, Tiffany. They had to do something. So they created what we call these top level domains, TLDs. And there's an amazing number of them, one for every country. Every country has their own. And then they have, all the info, the bank. Like my bank recently changed their domain name to regent.bank. And so that's happening industry wide. People are adopting that.
Yeah, I guess it's one of those. I always think that how easy life is that we're in a first generation of social media. Like we were the group that got first crack at it. And I'm lucky, I didn't always love growing up. My name was spelled differently, and I could never find stuff with my name spelled with an IE, because most people spell Tiffany with a Y or sometimes an I, very rarely the IE. So as an adult, I'm like, yes, this totally works, because there's not another Tiffany Kellogg last that I checked that's out there active. So I always get to snag at Tiffany Kellogg on the social with the combination of the IE and the Kellogg with the 1G. What did you have to do on social? Because your name is a little bit probably more common.
Well, Mary, for sure. Social media is not a big part of my world. So there's a division really between what we call digital marketing. And so the website should be the core of your digital marketing, and everything else points to that. So I have focused a lot of attention on helping people do that, and then advising them on what they should do on different channels and helping them get that set up. People either want to do it themselves or they want to sub it out. They don't usually bring a full-time person in. Some of my clients have brought full-time people in, and then I kind of help their staff strategize about how they should be using the social media. But the goal is always to take traffic back to the website so that you can, is that your goal, Tiffany? When you're doing social media?
Is my goal in social media to get people to my website? Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's more of a like fast action. Let's, do this right here and now. Though sometimes it's let's do this right here and now on a website. Sometimes it's like, no, just click right here to come to the event. And sometimes it's about engagement. But yeah, I guess I am often trying to get them to the website, though not always directly.
Yeah, social media educates and informs people.
Yeah.
So what you want to do is I hear people say, I talked to a lady yesterday, is my goal in 2025 is that I can no longer tolerate that the people in my state don't know about what I have to offer. And she's been doing it for a very long time. So she hasn't been really using, and it's not always about digital strategies. There are other ways to get people to your website and to get people to know who you are. And so she and I are going to go through that whole thing for her on 2025 of how she can grow that.
So let's assume that we get people to our website.
Okay.
Now, Gloria, who is one of my clients, she does copywriting. So she's not doing the website creation. She's doing copywriting. And she just, in the last week or so, had an article about like that people are making decisions on the website in like 3 or 5 or 7 seconds. Like they go to the website and then they leave. And I don't know that I'd go to a lot of websites when I'm first checking things out. Like I'm really trying to pay attention to how I'm going to a lot of websites, because I'm like, maybe I'm not as much as I thought I was. But what are your thoughts on what happens? Because getting people to the website is a whole different conversation, but the actual website itself, which is a huge part of your domain, is an issue. So talk to us about what do we need to keep in mind when we're designing our website, or what do we need to do if we need to look at what our current website is and is it working?
Well, so that's a great question, Tiffany. And that's something that people don't always understand. As a matter of fact, people rarely understand that. A lot of times people will say, well, I'm not really getting any business from my website. And so I'm going to add a blog. That's a big thing. That's monthly, ongoing work for content writers and web designers. And then the other thing that they'll do are Google Ads, which aren't cheap. They're very expensive, or not very, but they're moderately expensive. And they'll drive a bunch of traffic to their website, and they'll be like, and I always say, well, what was your ROI? Because it's an education process. I know the ROI. So if you spend $1,000 on, let's say, Google Ads, and you got one new customer, and that customer pays you, let's just say $1,000. That engagement is $1,000. So your ROI, you did get your money back, but you really should get 3 times what you spent, or it's really not worth your time and effort to implement that campaign. 3 times. So when you find that you're not getting the ROI, you have to take a step back and say, why? And this is where I like to educate people that if you don't know I'm not going to phrase this probably. If you don't know why your website's not converting the traffic that's coming to it, you shouldn't be sending more traffic. You have to fix the problem before you send more traffic to your website.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, there's a gal that I know, and she is a specialist on Facebook ads for coaches. Like, she's very niched in what she does. And her number one thing is, are you ready? Is your funnel already converting before you start paying for ads? Because if your funnel's not converting, then yeah, you're just throwing a whole bunch of money at something that's not going to convert.
Exactly.
So what are some things that we need to take into consideration? I know you've talked about that you do audits, and you're going to tell people how to get involved in that a little bit later, but what are some things for us to keep in mind?
Well, the ease of use. So, there's always these articles that come out. What are the big issues in 2025? What's coming up in front of you? But they really haven't changed much over the years. So there are technical things that happen on your website, how people move through it. And we have tools that can help us find those things that are not working for humans. They work technically. They show up on the website. They might look pretty, but they're not working for humans. And we call that usability or ease of use. Is your menu structured well so that people can actually find? If a lot of people, their traffic goes straight to the home page. They don't dive in. We try to get people to dive in. Ease of use is a really, really big thing. And so how the menus are laid out, are they logical? When people click on them, each page should really be about that one subject. You shouldn't be talking about 3 other things that you do on that page. And that gives clear communication to people. The other thing we do on all websites is mobile responsiveness. That came out, I think it was 2010.
Oh, wow.
First started doing mobile responsive websites, and the spec for how you do it wasn't even completely written then. So it's evolved a little bit, but it's been an amazing, it's one of 2 things in my career that I say were seminal moments in web technology. So the fact that many people just run their business from their cell phones these days. They're not even logging into their
I can't do that, but I get that is how some people do.
Yes, yeah. And so it's really important that that mobile responsiveness works. So you might test that or look at it on one cell phone, but when we test it, we look at it on a plethora of cell phones. And there's always a little tweak here or there. It's a manual process. We put the code in for mobile responsive, then we test for it, and there's tweaks that have to be made based on screen size and all kinds of different things. And then the other one that people don't talk about as much as mobile responsive is cross-browser compatibility. So, Tiffany, what do you use when you're surfing the internet?
Google Chrome.
Chrome. So I don't know how many, it's a big percent. It's a big percent and sliding. And so we use Chrome and Edge. I like DuckDuckGo. I don't know. My son-in-law introduced me to it a long time ago. It's actually, I think, the 4th largest.
I've never even heard of that one.
Yeah. People like it because they don't track you. So with Google, if you type in, I need to buy safety pins, you'll get an ad on your phone later.
Gotcha.
So they don't track you, and people are getting a little tired of that. So the cross-browser compatibility, all browsers do a little bit different. Another one that's really big is Safari. So I would say, and it depends on your industry. You can always go and look, but in retail industries, I would say 50% of your traffic is coming from a mobile device. iPhone, iPad are becoming more and more popular, just because they're easy to sit around and use in your leisure time.
Yeah.
I do a lot of work in the B2B environment for industrial clients, and the majority of their website is of their traffic is coming from desktops and Chrome, like you said. But we always do that to make sure if it shows up on Chrome for Tiffany looking like this, that when Tiffany's sister pulls, I don't know if you have a sister,
Tracy.
pulls on her iPad later, Tiffany's not going to go, oh, I'm going to have that fixed. So we always strive for that in that cross-browser compatibility. There's a couple of other really big things. Fast loading speed. I see a lot of websites. I ran across one I was helping a guy with the other day, about a month ago, and it took a full 9 seconds to load. And he gets 2 users a month to his website. That's not very many. And I said, this has to be fixed. And so we test for all that. There's so many things that can be done. Honestly, I get a little agitated sometimes because I don't understand why web designers aren't doing this. Right? Because these are known things. We have known tools to fix them. It's not like we have to go out and reinvent the wheel in order to fix speed issues.
Yeah, but I mean, some people have their things that they hang their hat on and they're not as concerned with. And sometimes these things make a difference and sometimes they don't. Yeah, I can't fathom, like nowadays, if the website doesn't load within like 2 seconds, which is funny if you think about how long we used to wait for like AOL.
Of course, yeah.
Just to dial the modem, and yeah, the websites took forever. It was such a long process.
But it was worth waiting for, apparently.
Yeah, well, we didn't know any better, and nowadays, yeah, it's just a few seconds. So I know one of the things that you do is offer an audit. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Tell us how people can find you, because we're coming up on kind of close to the end of today. So tell us a little bit about how we can reach out, how you can help.
Well, we offer audits of websites, and we give people, in that process, we give you a complete list of everything we find under these categories that we've been talking about, including the security of your website, which we think is very important. I didn't talk about that very much, but there are a lot of known hacks out there that your website should not be vulnerable for. And so we give you a list of those, and we tell you what exactly needs to be done. We also do a scoring in the audit to tell you where you score on several different aspects of that. And then we give that to you. You can either engage with us to do the updates to your website to repair that. Sometimes it's cheaper to build a new website. I hate to say that. I ran across one of those last week. Sometimes it's cheaper just to build a new website. But you should definitely get those things fixed if you want your website to bring you new business.
Yeah, and it's interesting. 20 years ago, I would say, does a business have to have a website? I'm like, I think nowadays, at least in my mind, a business needs to have a website. Now, absolutely. That could be a one-pager or, a couple of pages. It doesn't have to be like a massive 500,000 pages kind of thing. I kind of feel like if you are truly a business, you need to have at least some website.
I agree. And I know a lot of companies are trying to use Facebook for their digital platform, right, where everything lands. And that's a decision. And it depends on who you're doing business with.
Yeah.
Who are your customers and what do they expect from you?
Yeah, and I feel like it's almost, it's that multi-pronged approach. How do we get to it? And here's the thing about Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter, whatever. All of these are platforms that other people own and run. And so if Facebook decides, or we're seeing what's happening. Okay, I don't really pay this much attention. I'm not cool enough to care what Twitter or X does, because I'm like, that's just so outside of my realm. I'm a Facebook gal. LinkedIn, that's where I play. I'm not cool enough for TikTok yet. but I'm talking to a marketing gal on Thursday.
Oh, you're cool enough.
We'll see. Yeah, no. But so for me, but I mean, you know, here you have this platform that people were using in a way, and then somebody bought it, and now they're doing things completely different. And so just because Facebook or LinkedIn or Insta or X or TikTok is working now doesn't mean it will in 3 or 5 years. And I know more than one person, including my husband. He was one that completely got locked out of their social. His is on Facebook, never to be able to get back in. And he barely uses it. Like, I know some people use it. For him, it wasn't like the end of the world. So he was kind of like, all right. But for some people, it's a massive difference. So yeah, I love the idea. Let's have that website, because that's when people are going to go search, they see us.
Well, and that was something that became readily apparent during COVID. Not to mention all the social media stuff, but do you know that Google turned off reviews during COVID?
Oh, I did not realize that.
Yeah. And so we have a tool that we provide to our clients so they can own their own reviews. And having, like you, the point you're making is having your website protects you from what big corporations are doing in the other realms out there. You'll be a steady state no matter what they do.
Well, Mary, it has been a pleasure, y'all. Go check out designyoursite.net. Designyoursite.net. You can find out information about the audit, the other things that her and her amazing organization does. Now, in just a moment, Mary, I'm going to ask you to give us that one last tip that you want to share with us. But y'all, it's Tuesday, and I just want to remind you at 2:35 p.m. today, Eastern, we are having our More Abundant Entrepreneur Community event. We have these every Tuesday, though we will not have these Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. So every Tuesday that's not a major holiday, we will typically have that. Today we are having our masterclass, and we're going to talk about how can you create harmony when you're trying to juggle work and holidays and blah, 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 blah. So I'm super excited about that today. You can go to our website, moreabundantentrepreneurs.com/events, get the information for that. We do hope that you will come out and join us. All right, Mary, give us your last kind of thing for the people watching today.
Yeah, one of the most important things you can do for your website is focus on who your ideal customer is. People are talking about that more and more these days. I tell people, I've told my clients, if you don't know who your ideal customer is, open up your bookkeeping software and find out where 80% of your revenue came from. And that shouldn't just be one customer, maybe a group of customers, and that's your ideal customer. Those are the people you want to target. They love you.
I love it, and I think it's so true. I think that if we try to be all things to all people, it's when we really find that niche. I don't know who said it first, because lots of people say it, but the riches are in the niches. So I love the fact of designing your website, whether it's the colors that you use, a lot of words, or a lot of pictures, videos, interaction, or basic. You know, your target market dictates so much of that, and if it's designed with them in mind, then they're definitely going to want to be your clients quicker and hopefully for longer. Well, Mary, it has been a pleasure. Y'all check out designyoursite.net. Hopefully we'll see you for one of our Tuesday afternoon events. And happy networking, y'all.